Welcome back to the Gameplan NFL Week 15 main slate breakdown. We got the special guest, Bobby Wow, with us to break down the entire Week 15 slate. Omicron edition. Let's do this. Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry. Still rocking to that.
Never seen that.
Oh, you haven't seen that? You haven't seen the Gameplan intro? Yeah, it's badass.
That was like soothing and groovy at the same. I don't even know, man. That was beautiful.
If you're not bouncing to that, I don't know. You're sick. You're a sick person.
You're not in the Christmas spirit if you're not enjoying it. That's for sure.
The Christmas spirit is alive and well everywhere, as is the Omicron spirit. And what is going on? So there's a lot of craziness, but let's start here. My name is Kevin Allen, a.k.a. The Geek, from DFS Army, and this is the Gameplan NFL Week 15 main slate DFS breakdown. Joining me, not as always, but as a special guest, because Statsational is, of course, heading to Miami or Pebble Beach, California, wherever the hell the Draftkings Fantasy Football Championships are. So he is in transit today on Bobby Wow, one of the toughest DFS weeks that I have ever come across in all of my years of playing this.
Ever.
Not because I can't figure out which games to play, but the Omicron is going bananas right now.
Yes.
By the way, let's just keep it real. The Omicron's it's like less than a common cold at this point. Like you get the Omicron, you're like, all right, I feel fine.
I don't know. I'm not going to speak into that because I think there's still some things yet to be determined, but I think,
all right, but right now, I mean, these guys are getting it and they're over it a couple days. And
athletes, oh, for sure. Yeah. The athletes, you're absolutely right.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
And out of shape, fat ass like myself, probably deadly. I'm not talking about me. I get a vaccination. I get a booster once every 3 weeks at this point. I'm on a schedule.
Okay.
I just get regular boosters.
You've been boosted 15 times, right?
Well, they give $100 in New York City. Every time you go, they give you $100.
That's DFS money.
Yeah. If I bet it, I double it. So you take the Hyundai from the booster, you bet it, 200. All you got to do is follow any Anthony G like pizza bet, and from the Wise Guys show, and you're locked in, or it's free money.
Can I be real with you for a second? I'm a little disappointed that you didn't notice my jersey. I came on to support you.
Jay. I noticed you're wearing a jersey, right? But it didn't click in my mind that you're rocking the Jets, baby. What's up?
I'm here to bring you the savior of the Jets, okay? I don't know if you
Michael Carter. Oh, Tim Tebow. Oh, of course you have a Tim Tebow jersey. Of course you do. But I assume that your wearing of the jersey is in celebration of the return of Jets running back Michael Carter.
That's exactly right.
I knew it. I know your love for Carter. It's known far and wide. Ever since Josh, DFS Up North, gave out the Michael Carter play that week, he went for 30. Was that you or Josh that gave
that?
That
was Josh. That was
Josh, right? Yeah.
Oh,
in the 10 for 10. You have been a big Michael Carter supporter.
That's right.
I loves it. And I love the Christmas spirit in the background. That tree, it looks like it comes out of a movie, like Home Alone. Is there a kid by himself in your house just dealing with some crazed bumbling thieves?
Who's to say? They're running around by themselves because I said Daddy's got to do the pod. So
there are some kids running. And when did your heart stop, by the way? I forgot to ask.
As long as we need to.
Oh, nice. All right, here we go. So let's get into the slate. And a couple of pieces of news came out. So you were just telling me off air. The most recent, Taylor Heineke, gone, COVID, backup quarterback for Redskins, for Washington, gone, COVID, third string quarterback coming in. We don't even know who he is. I don't know the name. Who's
Heineke
the third string?
and Kyle Allen are out.
Kyle Allen, by the way, is fine. But who's the third guy?
No, Kyle Allen's COVID.
Yeah, I'm saying he would be fine if he was playing. He's like an experienced NFL player. Who's the number 3?
Garrett Gilbert.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Garrett Gilbert.
Are these guys even on the main slate Like, can you play them on DK? No, right?
Garrett Gilbert is not in the player pool.
Okay.
My goodness. Good. I'm kind of glad he's not in the player pool, because who the hell? Then I got to call like my college football guys to find out if Garrett is a runner. It's the only thing I care about on backups. Do they run? Do they have legs? No, he's a pocket passer. So essentially, Eagles defense all in. What are the other news items that the vid is all the plantar fascia is going crazy. Can you even play at this point? I think you got to bench Antonio Gibson. There's no way. It's hard to see a scenario. I don't know if you have to bench him, but it's hard to see a scenario where, Washington is anything but getting their asses beat. And by the way, the betting odds, oh boy, have they reacted?
Geek, they have the lowest implied team total on the slate at 14 points.
It might be the lowest that's ever been.
That is ugly, man. Oh,
Washington football against the Eagles. I'm hearing like a heartbeat. Is that the Washington ownership worried about their terribleness? Do you hear that?
No. You hear a heartbeat?
It's like the craziest sound ever. Eagles minus 12 at this point. That means an extra. Last night I checked it before the Heineke news, and it was already minus 9 because all of the other players from Washington. Here's what there's like 20 players on Washington that are out, not just the quarterback. You're talking linebackers, defensive linemen. This is just a disaster. So my question is, what about Hurts? Like, if the Eagles are about to put an epic ass whipping on Washington here because Washington's missing everybody, do we even bother playing Hurts, or is it a Miles Sanders? Can you play Miles Sanders?
Oh gosh, I don't know, man. I mean that Philly running game is so hard to play. I think you can play Hurts. Obviously, Eagles defense is a solid play, but look, Jalen Hurts is a rushing quarterback. He's got one of the higher rushing upsides for a quarterback, and so I think for that reason.
Wait, I have news on Jalen Hurts actually.
Oh, cheers.
Pause that. On the Wise Guys show last night, Anthony Gargano, who is a Philly insider from Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio, told me that at best it's 50-50 that Hurts is going to play in this one. And he said at best. He said it does not. It's a 50-50 shot as of right now. And we might get another Gardner Minshew. We might not get a Gardner Minshew to Goddard. Double Goddard. That worked a couple weeks ago. Worked last week. Gardner to Goddard.
See, I don't know that I could play Gardner Minshew.
What's with your hate of Gardner Minshew?
I don't hate him. It's just
what's wrong? He gave us 20 fantasy points last week. What a bad guy. For 4K. I'll take that all day. That was the best.
I'll take that.
I love Gardner Minshew at this point. So it is a tricky week. A lot of COVID situation. What else is going on with COVID that's new? Any other new information as of this morning? And then we could go through some of these games and kind of get a sense of what we're going to do here.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything earth-shattering that came out aside from that Washington news. I'm just trying to catch up here. I haven't seen anything else come through. But like we talked about earlier, this is probably not going to be it. So we're going to have to pay real close attention all the way up to the slate here, all the way up to lock.
For DFS Army subscribers, I have to tell you guys that, like I said, I've been working on my sheet since early in the week, but news is changing so fast that it's actually been quite difficult to really get a full sense to where I can write out an approach to the slate in full, because things are just changing really fast. And if you're not a DFS Army subscriber and you're watching this, go right now and get subscribed. We'll help you navigate this. This is the best time of year for football. COVID, Omicron, all that aside, Bobby Wow. This is the best time of year for NFL football. And really you might say, well, it's the end of the year. What are you talking about, Geek? I already lost all my money. That was at other places, right? This is the best time of year because we get the 2-game Saturday slates, which I love. We go into shorter Sunday slates. Then a couple weeks from now, the playoffs. And I love playoff 3 games, 3-game slates, almost better than a 2-gamer. and big contests. So, and as we get into December and especially in the playoffs, we start to see players like what happened a little bit last night. All of a sudden, the Chiefs are like, you know what? Let's just throw it to Kelsey and Hill. Enough with this nonsense, right? And you start to be able to predict that teams are going to play. They're going to game plan to get their best players to football. And I find that this time of year becomes more predictable. You don't see as much where teams just play bad and let down. They're usually at their best, not just in December, but into the playoffs. Have you found that? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a really good point. And I couldn't agree more that this is by far the most fun time to play.
I love it. And I love the short slate. I love the Saturday slate. We will have a breakdown, DFS Army VIP only with DFS Up North. Josh, what time? Later tonight? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're gonna try and jump on tonight, right?
Yeah, we're planning on jumping on tonight to do a 2-game slate breakdown. I have a lot of thoughts about it. Patriots of the Colts might be one of the best games of the entire weekend. You got that weird Raiders game. Oh, I don't know what's happening with the Browns, but you got that. Yeah, such a weird one. But we're going to break down the 2-gamer for DFS Army subscribers only tonight. So Friday night. So come back for that. Maybe 9:00, maybe 9:30, something in that time frame. Right. But today we're taking a look at the Sunday main slate. So let's just go through it. And I don't know if we're better to go game by game. We might have to, because there's not one game that really stands out. It's a really weird week. And to pick out, it's so open. Things are so open. So let's go through it one at a time. The first game is the Panthers at the Bills. So while neither of these teams has an Omicron breakout that I know of, I don't know of one. What we do have is a game that has a massive favorite. The Panthers, it's not even clear who the quarterbacks. I think it's going to be PJ Walker, to be honest. But it could just, I don't know what's going on with the Panthers right now, but they're not looking too good. And the Bills are coming off a loss. Angry Bills. I guess my question here is, with the Bills, you always want some Bills exposure. Yeah. Always, right? It's one of those teams that you must get a little bit of. And I really like that with Emmanuel Sanders out, that you can count on like a Gabriel Davis to get some targets in this game. Steffi Diggs, not worth paying for. By the way, Stephon Diggs, Bobby, wow. One game this entire season where you wanted to roster him. One game.
It's ugly, man. Yeah, I don't like it.
He doesn't get the volume that he needs to be an 8K. He's a fine player, but he needs to be salaried 7K, 6,800. At 8,100, he's just massively overpriced, and he should not be played. What do you think?
Agreed. And especially as we go through the slate, you'll see there's a couple spend up options that are just significantly better in terms of ceiling on the slate. So yeah, I don't like Diggs. I don't like the matchup, and I don't like it relative to where he is price wise.
I do think you could, if you play Josh Allen, though, you do want to stack him. And I think it's either Knox or Gabriel Davis for me. And it's those two or bust.
I love Gabe Davis. Yeah, that's a great call. I mean, he was getting end zone targets the last couple of weeks with everyone healthy. So yeah, I like him even more.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So the next one is the Jets at Miami. And I got to tell you, Bobby, that at first look at this slate, I was like, Tua. I was just like, Tua is my favorite quarterback on the slate, motherfuckers. Right? I look, and Tua is my guy. Except now they lost Jalen Waddle, and there is some COVID running around in the Miami locker room, and who the hell else knows? So a couple of positives, but a lot of negatives. I think that Tua takes a step back without Waddle there. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Waddle's been by far their most consistent playmaker. So yeah, it's a tough situation. Tua has played well, and the Jets stink. So there's that going for him. But you're right. I mean, Jalen Waddle being out's a big hit for that offense.
So the way I'm looking at this game with Waddle out, it does condense the offense just a little bit. Not enough to really feel super, super confident. But yeah, Jesse's got it right. I mean, it is Devontae Parker season. I loved Parker before the Waddle injury or the Waddle COVID situation. I already loved Parker. But now at 4,300 on DraftKings and reasonable price on Fanduel. Sorry, don't know it by heart, but my guess is in the 5K. My guess is in the 5K range on FanDuel. Parker becomes one of the best points per dollar values on the entire. Yeah, I mean 5,800. So he becomes one of the best points per dollar values on the slate, in my opinion. Beyond him, I mean Gesicki's in play now. And what about Miles Gaskin?
I think you mentioned it in your notes that the Dolphins just don't seem overly committed to the run game.
They never will be.
It would seem like this is a smash spot for the running back. But, part of it's Dolphins game plan. The other part of it is the Dolphins just don't really have talented running backs. I don't care how much people try to sell Miles Gaskin. He just doesn't move the needle. So it's the Jets. So he's in play, but he's definitely not someone that I'm going out of my way to be way overweight on.
You got to see how few actual legitimate options there are at running back before to make too strong of.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, there are not. There are not that many good options. The options are very, very limited this week. When we look at the whole position group, like there is just not that many options. So you might have to use them. You might have to use them.
There is one guy, and I think Josh mentioned it earlier this morning. He'll be in his 10 under 10 sheet. Albert Wilson is a really intriguing pivot off of the chalky Parker. Parker's really cheap, so it's hard to make an argument against him. But Albert Wilson's a guy that got a bunch of targets, speedy wide receiver, someone that certainly has the potential to break the slate at 2 or 3% ownership. So he's more on the Turdley side, but I kind of like him as a pivot.
If you look at Miami's snap count from last week under the DFS Army matchups tool that I've opened up here on screen, you're going to see that Wilson had a 57% snap share last week, which is very good. 16% target share. Again, very good. And now without Waddle, I love the call on Wilson. I think it's a slate breaker. It's a GPP play. Wilson is one of these guys that, he's either winning you the tournament or he's not helping your team at all. There's very little in between with him. But I don't see why he wouldn't get some more work. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah, he will. You're right. He will.
Yeah. And similarly with Mike Gesicki, unless it's such a beating, but like you said, this is a Miami team that does not lean on running backs very hard. So I don't see why not. Why not Gesicki? Why wouldn't Tua throw a bunch of times? And my goodness, what if the Jets actually make a game of this? And I don't think it's out of the realm of things that could happen, although I don't think it's super likely. I don't think it's out of the realm of things that could happen that, the return of Michael Carter. I got nothing else to tout there, but the return of Michael Carter, the firing of the other OC, something. There's not that much good. But, I think Wilson has been less horrible in the latter part of the season than he was in the former.
They seem to be playing better, and for what it's worth, that doesn't mean they're playing well, but they're playing better. They're playing more competitive football.
A little bit of that. So I like this game. I like this game a little bit.
It's one of my sneakier games, in my opinion.
All right, so we talked about Washington at the Eagles already. My orders is out a little bit. We already talked a little bit about Washington and the Eagles. Washington and the entire team is COVID. The spread now -12. At this point, really with the Eagles, you borderline can't play anybody on Washington with the third string quarterback in the game. That is not gonna be good. And to make matters worse, Terry McLaurin is questionable. Don't even know if he's gonna play. What a disaster. I'm actually gonna swap in Parker for Terry McLaurin, even if Terry McLaurin plays in one of my season-long fantasy championships.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, it's not good. So I don't want anything to do with this Washington. Nothing. Who the hell's a quarterback again?
Garrett Gilbert.
Yeah, come on. So with the Eagles, the only question is, do they lean heavy on the run? Do they, does Hurts do anything? I think it's I think the whole play is very sketchy. Eagles could just style in this game, but they could also run it and just dominate with their defense.
Yeah, maybe Antonio Gibson for me. He's the one guy I'm looking at on the Washington side.
Yeah, these are tough decisions. I think I'm going Parker over Penny. Just that matchup for Penny is brutal, Damon. So on that note, moving on here, we got the Cardinals at the Lions. Again, monster 12.5-point favorites. This is always a tough situation. Let me ask you this. Is Chase Edmonds coming back this week?
I don't know. Some people were saying he might not come back at all. So there was some murmurs that he would come back last week. That didn't happen. And I think even if he does, it feels like James Conner's established himself as the guy. I mean,
this is what I was thinking also. I was almost thinking it's better if Edmonds
want him to come back.
Yes. Because you'll get right now what I think is going to end up happening. And I don't know if our projection models, we've been doing our best to keep the ownerships updated on the Dom station and in our content. But things changing fast. But James Conner to me should be the highest owned running back on the slate by far.
Yeah.
He's going to be the chalk. Like he's the guy.
He was making in the game the other night. That was crazy.
Yeah. The one-handed Odell Beckham catch was awesome. Who is this guy? I mean, I'm very happy for the Terminator because he had a difficult path. He had cancer. He has overcome some things in life. And, I'm really happy for him. But it's also bizarre because he was on a team in the Steelers that exploit pass catching running backs really well. And they weren't able to do it. So I don't know what's going on. It's, eyes are deceiving me. The other nice thing about Arizona here is they just have a tighter group of playmakers than they have in the past with Hopkins out and, with Edmonds out, it narrows things a little bit. So any pieces here from Arizona that spark interest?
I think all those guys spark interest for me. This is another game that I have as a sneakier one. I think Detroit has been playing better as well. And, the Arizona defense, I think, is a little overrated. So I don't mind getting exposure across the board to guys like Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore, Ertz, and even Kyler. I think, usually we avoid blowout games for expensive QBs, or at least usually I do. But I have some interest across the board there.
GPP only. There is a definite path to bad games for Kyler or for a Kyler just not doing much for his crazy high salary. So definitely, the floor is low enough with Kyler. Again, in writing up I can't make him like a cash play. There's
I agree with that. Yeah.
There's a massive pathway to Kyler disappointing just because he doesn't need to do anything because it's the Lions. They stink. Arizona defense does its thing. James Conner, 2 more touchdowns, and they get through the game. And, he doesn't need to do that much. He's not going to run around. Why would he risk his health?
I'll say this, and I'm curious what you think. If I'm playing Kyler, my rule, I'm going to make a rule that says no James Conner. I will not have those two guys in the same lineup.
Yeah, they don't make sense together. And by the way, Conner is so chalk that Kyler is the perfect leverage against the Conner chalk. So if in a tournament, think about when you play in tournaments, leverage is king, right? So when you think about how can I leverage, it's a classic Bobby Wow play, but how can you leverage the exposure? Well, everybody's going to be on Conner. So the leverage play is to say, what if the game goes down and Kyler gets all the tutties? He throws for 2. He runs for 2. And you're like, well, that's unlikely, Geek. And okay, sure it is. That's why everybody's playing Conner this week. Like, yeah, I know it's unlikely. That's why it's called leverage. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that is the classic tournament leverage goodness. Do we expect it to happen? No. Even the cat who just crept into the room agrees about the leverage play.
Yeah, and I think, look, what's interesting is Kyler's ownership is up around 13% right now. So people aren't scared to play Kyler. I do think there's going to be a bunch of lineups with both Kyler and Conner in it. So there's already some leverage to be had by avoiding this game. I did just read too, Chase Edmonds looks like he is going to be back. So take that for what it is.
Yeah, I think Chase Edmonds' return will moot the ownership on Conner and might make him a really good play. So, people are going to be scared. Listen, Conner was not doing his thing when Chase was in the game, but when the Cardinals are up massive, which they should be in this game, they don't go to Chase Edmonds. They tend to go to Conner. So let's see what happens there. But That's going to be a really interesting one to see how it goes down. But I definitely still think Connor will be one of the best plays at running back this week. All right, so moving on to the next game, we've got the Cowboys at the Giants. And again, another 44-point total, non-competitive game with the Cowboys coming in as massive 11-point favorites. And the question is, what do we do with that? Can you play Dak? Can you play Dak's pass catchers? And I don't know what's going on with the Giants. They stink, but it looks like they'll get Daniel Jones back. So maybe they have some life in them.
Oh man. Yeah. What's weird is this is feels like one of the higher totals on the slate, which is just so bizarre for a 45-point total game.
I know you can't ignore any games. It's funny.
I think it feels like the Cowboys run game stinks. Zeke clearly isn't right. I think, is Pollard still out? I think Pollard
will be back.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, he will be back. But Zeke is not right, or Zeke should be getting better every single week. They're just not playing him. Like, I'm not paying all the way up here for Zeke and his 12 carries.
No way.
His 13 carries. They brought in Corey Clement last week and were giving him a lot of looks. So, the return of
Pollard, there he is, 5,800.
Pollard aside, practice in limited fashion, unable to mix in drills to begin, but he was taking part in individual drill. So, it looks like he'll probably come back, but I don't want anything to do with him or Zeke. I think it's too split. Zeke is priced like he's a supreme workhorse. No, not paying that.
And I think we got a little clue into what the Cowboys' offensive game plan is last week. They went up big. They went up big on Washington early. And what did we see? We saw Dak continue to throw the football and almost blow the game, but they are going to throw the football. So that, that tells me Dak is firmly in play, even in a game that could project as a blowout.
But you don't love it.
I don't love it. No, he's not going to be one of my highest exposed QBs. No, but he's playable for sure.
Yeah. If he's getting the 40 pass attempts, he's going to be playable. But again, last week, I don't know what happened. He didn't do very well, but I think that's more just variance and where the scoring came from. But I can't sign off on Dak either. I mean, I think he's fine, but the Giants
10% ownership that's high.
Yeah. I mean, the Giants are the fact that Daniel Jones is coming back. It actually does help the case because I think the Giants have at least a chance to be competitive. Whereas with Pencil Neck at the helm, it was not even watchable. It was like watching the Jets play. Sorry, no offense, Jets fan. That's you, Bobby Why, wearing Jets jersey.
Oh God.
No offense. So again, we've been through a lot of quarterbacks already, and it's not pretty. Some of them are playable, but no one stands out like, oh, wow, I really need to get some Dak exposure here. If you're playing Dak, of course, it's Cooper and Lamb and Gallup, and there's a lot. He's got two. It's hard to stack him, actually. You kind of got.
Yeah. Now I'm reading too. It looks like Danny Dimes won't end up playing.
No, they're even worse. And
maybe even crazier. Jake Fromm could end up being named the starter over Mike Glennon. So
it's a disaster. That just got worse. Dallas defense, that's way worse. You can't play Dak in this situation. It's going to be Dallas defense. The Cowboys have not shown that they will pour on fantasy points for Dak in games that are well in their control. They haven't shown it. I mean, it's Corey Clement coming out. I can't play Dak in this spot either. I need a competitive game, and this just isn't it. So we digress. Titans Steelers game, very close game at the very least, and this one does carry some interest for me, Bobby Wow, on the Steelers side. First of all, I think the Steelers are going to win. I don't really understand why the Titans would even be favored or a pick 'em. It's a little weird for me. I don't. The Titans have been absolutely abhorred without AJ Brown and without Derrick Henry. It's like they are not a team without those two guys. They stink.
Let me ask you this, and I know this is kind of irrelevant, but would you be able to tell me the Tennessee Titans record right now?
I think it's not bad. They're probably, my guess would be 8-6.
They're 9-4.
Yeah.
That surprised me. They're playing okay without. I mean, they're not.
No, what happened
lost
was
their identity, but
they went on a run when they still had Derrick Henry. They beat the Bills. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Rams. Like, they beat everybody. They beat Arizona. They beat all the best teams in the league. And it was like, oh my God, it's Tennessee. They're the shit. And then Derrick Henry hurts his foot. And then A.J. Brown hurts whatever the hell, his butt, whatever he hurt. And what's wrong with A.J. Brown? I don't even know.
I don't know.
So then A.J. Brown gets probably also a foot. And now you kind of, and Leo Jones has been hurt all season. I get it. He's back now, but he ain't the Julio we once knew and loved. Even Kyle Marley is going to have a hard time pulling the trigger on Leo. Although I don't mind him in this game, in fairness. But I don't get why the Titans would be favored here. They're on the road. It's the Steelers. The Steelers at least have their full team. And Titans defensively are not very good. I don't see this. I think the Steelers put a beating on them the way that the Patriots did, because the Patriots have a defense that is like, oh, you don't have anybody. Did the Patriots put a beating on them?
On the Titans?
I
feel like they did.
Yeah, at some point. But no, these are teams that understand, like, hey, you have no weapons? Okay, I can hone in on Jeff Swaim and, D'Onta Foreman. Like, come on. So it's a tough spot for the Titans, and I like the Steelers. Can you play Ben Roethlisberger?
I don't mind Ben. I mean, his ownership's going to be extremely low. He'll be under 4 or 5% for sure. The guy I love in this game is Najee Harris. I think he's an elite play this week, and I don't care how high owned he's going to be. I'm going to be overweight on Najee.
Najee stands out as easily the best running back play on the entire slate. Even with the opponent ranked 2, actually, that's a positive for me. I like that. I like when that scares people off mentally. And he's just the best play up top. If you just look at it, Harris, Zeke, you don't want to play Zeke. Mixon, yes. Cordero, tough matchup. Aaron Jones, split carries. Saquon Barkley, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to Connor. There it is. It goes Harris, Connor. There's no one in between. And Mixon. It goes, I'll give it like the Harris, Mixon, Connor. And then it's a bunch of bad in between, and there's nothing there.
Well, and we'll see as we start to make lineups later, too. Outside of a couple wide receivers, where else are you going to pay up? I mean,
it's one of the weirdest weeks. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Cooper Kupp. I want Devontae in all my lineups. I want Cooper Kupp in all my lineups. I love Debo, so I like these guys. But you can't play all three. And yeah, it gets a little weird. We got a lot still to cover here.
Yeah.
So a lot to cover. But Titans, Steelers, I can't see getting too excited about anybody on the Titans. I don't actually know any of the names of any wide receivers on the team. And, Westbrook Akine and Leo. Najee Harris on the Steelers.
I like Westbrook Akine too. I think he's cheap enough to where, he's playable in a game where I would imagine the Titans are going to have to throw the football.
Cool. All right. So moving on, but I think Roethlisberger is a bit of a no one ever plays Roethlisberger. And if you play him and you mix him with Freiermuth or, Deontay, even Chase Claypool, like every once in a while, Ben Roethlisberger pops off at no ownership. So I think it's okay. Now we move on to a game that I'm actually really interested in now because there's some narratives. I love narratives.
Love them.
Yeah, I love the narratives. So the Texans are at Jacksonville taking on the Jaguars here. And, the whole Urban Meyer thing.
Ugh.
Hate the face. Right? I don't know how I could have been more down on a human being from day one, from the first interview about Urban. I'm like, what is going on with this guy? Something's off about this situation. Then he's out grinding with the young hotties at his bar while after the team doing that whole thing. He's kicking the kicker in the ass, acting like a douchebag. You've got the guy's a douche. Like, here's my comparison. I've said this a couple times, Bobby. Wow. He's trying to act like Bill Parcells, right? He's trying to be this like old school gruff kicker. I'm not going to call you by name. You're kicker. Hey, kicker. Like this old school mentality that worked in the 80s and the 90s, by the way, for Bill Parcells. But even then, and like the John Fox, Mike Ditka approach to being a coach, right?
Oh God, John Fox.
These guys who are phony bravados. Now, it worked for Bill Parcells because Bill Parcells, the players knew, had real love for them in his heart, I think. I think he really cared about his players, like in real life. It's kind of Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells, ornery, kind of an asshole, but like, I think at the end of the day, actually, he's got a lot of bona fides that you just deal with him. And I do think he also cares about his players.
Well, not to compare him. I don't know that they're comparable, but Bill Belichick in the same light, right? Grumpy, really, really tough on the players. But at the end of the day, they know he loves them and he wants the best. He commands that type of respect.
April literally made a GOAT move in her fantasy football league, dropping KC defense and picking up Eagles. I hope that leads to a playoff win for you. But yeah. So anyway, here's my point with Urban. They hated that guy. The team hates him. Every single player in agreement. There's not a controversy. There was not like a faction that was like, no, we love Urban. He's great. The teams, the players, the coaches, from top to bottom, everybody hated that douche. So do we get a hate the face douche is gone rally from the Jaguars offense? Can it happen, Bobby Wow?
Absolutely, it can. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, who might be one of the nicest guys in the history of the planet, had nothing nice to say about Urban Meyer. That's how you know, right? That's how you know. I think this game will be really interesting. I mean, the Jaguars, they've got some decent weapons that have been underutilized, and the Texans looked really good last week. Davis Mills looked like a decent quarterback. So I think you're right. I'm with you, Geek. This will be fun to watch. I don't know that it's going to profile as high scoring at the end of the day, but it's at least exciting to watch, and all the narratives. But the players are so cheap in this one. Every player is cheap.
I'm playing guys from this game. I'm gonna experiment with lineups that have Lawrence and MJJ, some combination. I don't know if Shag Hennessy, maybe even all Shag Hennessy is in the mix at tight end. Laviska Shenault, could he have a good game? First one this season? Probably not, but maybe. I'm going to experiment from Brandon Cooks on the other side. You've got James Robinson. I actually like players from this game. Cedric's saying, like, it might be black. Not on red zone, my man. Everything hits on red zone. I'll see it. So, I like the pieces from this game. By the way, 39 point total. It's not that bad compared to the rest of the games. It's not like there are 53 pointers that we can pick. This is it.
Well, and the best part is the defenses stink. They're terrible. So, look, I've got a sneaky guy from this game that I'm going to be pretty invested in.
Who do you like? I don't know
if you're going to like it.
Who's the sneaky?
Nico Collins.
Oh, here we go.
I love Nico Collins in this game.
Oh, man. Nico Collins.
I had a feeling I'd get that reaction from you.
27% target share last week.
3,500 on DK. He was targeted 10 times last week. 10 times. Caught 5 passes for 70 yards. He's so cheap.
Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young said it best when they said, what have they got to lose? Throw it. What do you got to lose? Davis Mills, throw 45 times. You like how I brought in Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young? You don't get a Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young reference on every game plan. This just happens once a season, if you're lucky. Bobby's like, I don't know that song. I'm from the fucking 90s.
I don't. I was going to say, I don't know what that is.
You don't know the song.
I'm sorry. I know.
Killing me. I'm not going to dishonor the song by singing it. I will not do dishonor to that. But what have they got to lose? All right.
Nico Collins. Don't forget that name.
Nico Collins. Yeah. All right. Listen, I'm down. If you're going to play Davis Mills, you probably want to stack him with 2 anyway. And I'm less excited about Brevin Jordan, who got a bunch of targets last week, but not a whole lot of snaps on the field. So, yeah, I mean, 27% target share last week. Listen, it was a 1-week spike. I won't do it with every lineup, but I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. Nico Collins. By the way, I have him in some dynasty leagues, so I hope he's successful. And on the Jacksonville side, like we said, Marvin Jones Jr. seems like the best of them. Could we play Laquan Treadwell?
Oh, God.
Remember Laquan? Remember him?
He's Viking, right? He's been everywhere.
He was a first-round top 10 pick. Spent a lot of years with the Vikings as a turd on the Vikings team.
He's like the anti-Cordero Patterson.
If there was a week where Trevor Lawrence was going to win somebody a tournament, it's this week or the next couple weeks. You know, this is it. This is it. So, moving on, we've got the Bengals at the Broncos, and this is not. You know what? I don't know what to make of this game. I don't really like it very much at all. Burrow on the road, running heavy game plan for both teams. Broncos are going to run the football. I don't know what to make of it. This is actually the one game that I don't really know what to do with. Any thoughts, Bobby? Wow.
It's tough because they spread the football around so much. I mean, the Broncos with both Javonte and Gordon, we're not going to see. You don't see what happened last week every week. I think both those guys are good running backs, but we're not going to see that.
This isn't
again.
that game. This isn't that game.
No. Joe Mixon is probably my favorite play in this game, and I'm not even really that excited about him. The Broncos have been pretty good against the run, so it's tough. I agree. This game is probably one I'll be very little exposed to.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just having a hard time with it, and I'm just having a hard time with it. I'm not really sure. Like you said, the Bengals have T. Higgins. He's been popping, but he's a little expensive. Jamar Chase, I never mind playing Jamar Chase. I think he's tournament playable every single week, including this week. And Joe Mixon, though, could take over a game, as we've seen before, and then they don't throw a whole lot. And the Broncos are just going to run the football like crazy. You can't really – but there's two guys, and they're splitting it. And this is a good opponent. It's not going to be like last week where everybody gets a touchdown. So, yeah, it's a tough one. I'm going to cast it aside here.
I'll say that one thing that caught my eye was that Jerry Jeudy is 5,400. That's pretty cheap for Jerry Jeudy. He's going to break out one of these weeks. And Cortland Sutton at 4,600 is intriguing. So just dart shots would be all I would take on those guys, but they're pretty dang cheap.
The next time Jerry Jeudy has a DFS worthy performance will be the first time.
Fair. That's fair.
At least Cortland Sutton has had a couple of pop-offs, in his career. But, Jerry Jeudy, I think I think the whole team needs a better quarterback or something in order to they're good wide receivers. You're right. And Tim Patrick, by the way, there's a good trio of wide receivers there, but there's no rhyme or reason as to which one gets targets. There's not that many targets to go around. It's a tough one. GPP only stuff, right? Like you could sprinkle those guys across some lineups, and if one happens to pop off, great, but the others are going to ruin the lineups that they're in. Like, you have to accept that as a thing. So, they're just going to ruin them. So next up, and this one, are you ready for this, Bobby? Wow, I'm going to surprise you.
I'm ready.
This next game, the Packers at the Ravens, is one of the most intriguing games on this entire main slate for me, and I don't think a lot of people are going to be interested in it.
Really?
I don't. 43-point total. Lamar's look bad. He's in and out of the game. Don't know if he's playing this week. The whole deal. If Lamar plays, I like Lamar here very much. I like Lamar when he's behind in a game. I like Lamar chasing points, and I like Lamar at low ownership.
I'm going to piggyback off you and say, if Lamar plays, he is my favorite quarterback on the slate, hands down.
I was not expecting you to say this. So we are in agreement that let's see. It didn't participate. We'll find out today. I think we'll find out today. This was from yesterday's report, so today's Friday. I agree with you. I think if Lamar plays, and I don't love leg injuries for my quarterbacks, I don't love leg injuries for running quarterbacks. There's a lot not to like about Lamar, but this is just a weird ass slate where you got to keep him in your plays. Like he doesn't need to do that much at 7,200 to get there with his legs.
So let me ask you this. If Lamar does not play,
Huntley?
do you have any interest in Tyler Huntley?
Minimal. Huntley runs around as well. Huntley plays a style of football that scores well enough that, yes, I think he's – let's bring him up here.
17.3 points last week.
And
half a
game.
game.
The whole game. Yeah, he runs. Yes, I do have interest in Huntley, yes. As a matter of fact, regardless of if Lamar plays or not, it's almost better if Huntley is the guy.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, it's almost better because you're getting for 5,400 a Huntley that likes to run around, and he has played another full game, and he didn't have a great game, but he did run around. I think that Chicago game was a half game as well. I'm not sure if he played a full game, and he didn't do very much, in fairness. But
we saw the Packers defense for who they are against the Bears on Sunday night. That defense is overrated. Justin Fields ran and threw all over them, really. Big plays. So I like, look, I'm going to play Huntley if Lamar doesn't play as well.
And the Wizard of Kaz is actually right. My personal rule is running quarterbacks with leg injuries, just don't play them. And normally I would fully ignore Lamar on a slate like this as well. The only reason I'm even considering it is, have you seen what we've just gone through? There is not one situation that looks blue chip to me, not one. So we're going through. It's like, if you're going to get Lamar at low ownership in a game playing from behind, I have some interest. On the flip side of this game, Aaron Rodgers is always playable. I don't love it, but I like it. And definitely, Devontae Adams is, up there with Cooper Kupp as the top overall play on this entire slate of any position. What do you think?
I agree. Devontae Adams is a stud. He'll always be a stud. And I hate to say it. I hate to even suggest it because I despise Aaron Rodgers. I despise him. But him at less than 3% projected ownership is sending, alarm bells up because the Ravens have a good chance to keep this game competitive. And if it is competitive, he's got a chance to be the top scoring QB on the slate. So I think pairing those guys is a really interesting play.
I don't think I've played Aaron Rodgers in DFS even once this whole season.
He's had some big weeks.
I'm not doing a victory lap. I'm just saying I haven't played him the whole season.
His last 3 weeks, Geek, 36.5, 29.3, and 32.6. Those are GPP winning scores.
GPP winners 3 weeks in a row. You're absolutely correct. Missed all three of them. Those were, I wouldn't say the Chicago game on paper looked like it was going to be some great game. It just got there. So, Aaron Rodgers still got it. The old man still doing his thing.
Young enough to be Brady's kid, though.
What's that?
I said young enough to be Tom Brady's kid, though.
Just about. his very, very little brother. So, yeah, I'm down with Aaron Rodgers as well. Again, he's not a guy that I've actively gone out to play and target each week. Here at Burns like Rodgers, especially at low ownership. So Burns is on board as well. Not so much with Lamar or any Baltimore quarterback. The only reason I like Lamar and Burns, I'll throw this at you. I know Burns does the Millie Maker breakdowns for us, the Shark Chronicles. I would suggest that the running quarterbacks often produce better individual fantasy points in games where their team is playing from behind. And it's a very specific phenomenon to rushing quarterbacks in particular. And they just do that. Like Jalen Hurts made most of his fantasy production this season in garbage time of games they were getting blown out in. And in games where the Eagles have played from ahead, Jalen Hurts actually does less and they kind of lean on the run. So, and I definitely have seen it with Lamar. When their team is not behind, he stands in the pocket and tries to be a pocket passer. And the minute they fall behind by a touchdown or two, it's like, all right, forget all that. Let me go crazy legs Jackson. I like that, crazy legs Jackson.
Crazy legs. Yeah, when Burns speaks, I listen. So I was hoping to have a reason not to play Aaron Rodgers, but
you
can't ignore it now.
All right, so now I'm going to get to what I consider to be my favorite team to stack this week and quarterback play. That's Matt Stafford and the Rams.
Yeah, we're on the same page again.
-4 favorite at home. The Rams are missing a lot of players. And I look at it as a positive, not a negative. So hear me out. Seattle, they stink. They stink. I'm not even shitting you. There's a reason why the game hasn't moved from -4, even though the Rams have a bunch of guys out. Because Seattle stinks. They've given up on the season. Russ Wilson is already moving on to another team in his own mind. He wants out of there. He wanted out before the season. He's not a diva like Aaron Rodgers that's going to make a whole stink about it. He wants out. This is a team that's quitting. So with that being said, Matthew Stafford likes to style out there. I mean, he's throwing to Cooper Kupp. I mean, if Seattle can just somehow keep the game competitive, somehow, I think this game could pop off. And even if they don't, I think Stafford will just keep throwing. He likes to be a mini Tom Brady. He likes to style. He likes to throw for touchdowns. He's targeting Cooper Kupp at an insane rate right now. And no Odell Beckham means we can grab Van Jefferson with some confidence that he's going to get a lot of targets. I mean, the double stack is easy to create. The triple stack, if you want to bring it back with DK Metcalf, I think is there for you with Tyler Lockett out. Give me your thoughts on this whole thing, Bobby Wow.
It's really hard not to like this game. I agree with you. I hate playing Cooper Kupp because he's always so dang high owned, but you almost have to play him this week. I mean, great passing environment. The Seahawks stink across the board. We've actually seen the offense working a little bit better lately, which makes me like it even more. And yeah, I agree with you. I like Van Jefferson a ton. And the other guy at min price that's intriguing as like a way to get different with a Ram stack is, and I try not to laugh, Skowronek. He's been getting some looks even with OBJ in. I think he got 2 targets in the end zone last week. And again, he's min price. He'll get a bunch of those WR3 snaps. So
I love it. I'm not laughing at that. I love Skowronek. Now that Odell Beckham's out, Skowronek is going to be in the game. Understand the way the Rams play. The Rams play 3 wide receiver with 1 tight end. That is they don't really have a 2 tight end. They don't play 11 personnel. They play 3 wide, running back, tight end. So Skowronek is going to be on the field all the time. He's going to be on the field for 80% of the snaps for 3K. I love it. I think the min salary, you could go Skowronek and Cooper Kupp as a combo, and instead of thinking of it as Cooper Kupp for 9K, Skowronek for 3K, you could think of it as Rams wide receiver combo. What's 6K each. You sort of level them out at 6K or 7.5 or something like that, where it levels off the fact that you pay so much for Cooper Kupp.
Agreed. Yeah. And so like the last time a couple weeks ago when the Rams were without one of their big 3 wide receivers, Skowronek played 76% of the snaps. So like you said, I think we're going to see a snap count over 50% with him, and min price. It's hard to pass up in tournaments.
Now on the opposite side of the field, do we know if Jalen Ramsey will be back this week?
I have not seen anything on Jalen Ramsey. My guess would be yes, but I don't know.
Jalen Ramsey is a really important component for me. I don't think that you could play DK Metcalf with confidence if Jalen Ramsey's in the game. Those two have a relationship and a history. I'm not going to say that means he could shut down DK Metcalf. I don't think that even Jalen Ramsey can full stop shut down DK Metcalf, but I think he could limit him enough that we're probably can't get there or are less likely to get to the 24 points he needs at 6,200 to smash. Whereas if Jalen Ramsey's still out with the COVID, I would say that DK Metcalf would be one of the best points per dollar plays on the slate by far. And it's not even close with no Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's definitely out.
Yeah. And obviously Jalen Ramsey's the key, but even beyond him, they've got a couple guys that are either on the COVID list or just injured, and so they're down to literally their final 2 cornerbacks. I mean, that secondary is totally decimated. So you're absolutely right. If Ramsey's out, DK is a smash play.
And I guess Freddie Swain, Penny Hart, I mean, Andrew Schwartz. So no Von Miller, that's okay. No Justin Hollins. But, I mean, it's Ramsey that we need to know about, Bernsey. How about Aaron Donald? Has he got the vid? Who's got the vid?
No, Donald will play.
I don't know. I mean, Adam's going to be the most chalky ever, or is it going to be
Cooper Kupp's going to be by far the chalkiest?
I think it'll be Kupp as well. I mean, we could check you want to check the ownership?
Kupp's going to end up at like 35 or 40% owned. I guarantee it.
Yeah. So right now, Kupp is 25 projection with Adams at 15. So Kupp is that. But look, my boy Devontae, second on the list. DK, not that high. I'm telling you, this is interesting numbers. Interesting numbers. And that brings us around to actually the one last guy from the Rams that we got to. If Darrell Henderson is playing, I'm heavy into Darrell Henderson. And if Darrell Henderson is out, I'm borderline all in on Sony Michel. So Rams running back is very interesting for me, but we don't know who it is yet. Yeah. By the way, if Darrell Henderson doesn't play, my season-long teams are so fucked.
Geek, if Ramsey's out, do you have any interest in Russell Wilson?
Yes, but only very minimal. I'm way more interested on getting my exposure on the Rams side of this game.
Okay.
Mostly because I think Russell Wilson's mildly checked out at this point. But yeah, I think so. I think you have to get some. Normally, in a normal week, I might not be interested in a 45-point total at the Rams on the road, the Rams defense being great. But if the Rams defense is missing a bunch of players, and of course, Russell Wilson, whatever YOLO style is out there just running around. It's not like Seattle has a dominant running back or anything like that. Rashard Penny. That's another one. Can I trust Rashard Penny? Oh, against the Rams?
Can you trust him? Absolutely not. No. Is he in play as a GPP guy? Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in play as a GPP guy for sure. But no trust. No trust. 57% of the snaps last week.
He's really not cheap enough, though. That's a problem. I mean, he's $400 cheaper than Sonny Michel. If Sonny,
did you see Hunter's call on Rashad Penny last week in the notes?
Yeah.
I mean, this is why you have to sign up for DFS Army as a VIP and also to join our Discord, because you missed the Discord, you missed this stuff. Hunter put out a note talking about how Pete Carroll was mentioning Rashad Penny and how he wanted to get him more involved, and how Rashad Penny, as much as you want to throw up and hold your nose, actually makes for a really good play this week, right? And I'm like, note, Sunday morning, 11:35, freaking Hunter all over it. And then when you looked at the Millie Maker winners, actually, did you see my weekend review on Monday? Did you have to catch that?
I haven't yet.
So I did. I was like, let's see if we can beat the Millie Maker winner in like 2 minutes here. And all I did was like smash like a 30% on Rashad Penny. And I just played Josh Allen stacks, which eventually came up with some Gabriel Davis, Allen combos. Smashed the Millie Maker winner on the first run. It wasn't even close. Like the Millie Maker was 218 last week. The first run, I got a 232. I'm like, my goodness, if you were just on Rashad Penny this week, you could have taken down the Millie Maker. And there it was right in the notes. So it was really, really cool to see that. But I don't know if you could. Yeah, I think so. I guess he's the starting running back at this point for Seattle, and they're going to give him a shot to, he's a first round draft pick. They want to see, hey, maybe we misjudged this guy. Maybe he is good. And, I guess you give him a shot the last couple of weeks.
It's all about health. It's all about health for Penny. There's always been hype around him, but he has never been able to stay healthy. So,
no. But I don't love the matchup. I don't love
I don't love it either.
All right, so let's go a little bit position by position here. Now that we've kind of gone over all these games.
One more game, right? Have we hit
Falcons
49ers
Falcons game? Okay, Falcons 49ers. You're right. Skip that one. So last game, and this is another one. Like, and actually, April was asking about Cordero Patterson as a play, and I don't know, and that's why I didn't answer that question too quick. I think Cordero Patterson's been good every single week, every single slate, even though his team seems to get worse and worse each week. This is not a good spot for the Falcons on the road. But yeah, I think you could play Cordero just because Cordero, you fade him at your own peril, I guess. Like he's been doing it. I mean, I don't know what you think there.
Yeah, I think in terms of those options, if I'm picking two, it's probably between AJ Green, Van Jefferson. It's more the receivers there.
I mean, I like Parker, I like Van Jefferson, I like Pittman. These are actually good choices for April here.
That's a good problem to have. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be Green. I'd eliminate Green and probably, I like Van Jefferson, I like Pittman, I like Parker, and I kind of like Cordero. It's hard to pick too. I would drop Green out of that group.
Really? He was
I know, but I just don't think they're going to need him. I don't think they're going to.
That's fair.
That one game.
Yep.
So for this Falcons 49ers game, the player that stands out to most to me is Eli Mitchell. I just think he's, price wise, if he's in the game. The problem is we don't know if he's going to play. And if he doesn't play, it gets a little muddier. But if Eli Mitchell was in the game and they said no restrictions, Eli Mitchell going strong here, then that would be the guy that stood out the most to me in this game. And of course, Deebo Samuel, always good as well. And that's it from the 49ers. Eli, Deebo, George Kittle, I don't think can do it a third time in a row. I don't know. What do you think there?
Yeah, he's priced up and he's gonna have some ownership. So he's someone that I'm okay fading. And if he beats me a third week in a row, he beats me.
Man, you needed George Kittle the last couple. That was the other one that I had to jack up. I jacked up like Kittle, Mark Andrews, a couple of the quality tight ends. That's how I was able to hit the nuts in like the first run.
Yeah.
You got to cheat a little bit if you're trying to do it in one run live on screen. But let me answer this here. So the plan for tomorrow, guys, and we still have a little more to cover here, but first of all, tonight we're going to do a 2-game slate breakdown, DFS Army VIP only. We're going to bring on DFS Up North, who's put the sheets together for the 2-gamer. And then tomorrow, I'm doing the Players Club, maybe earlier than usual. I think I'm going to have to start it maybe at 11:30 or that kind of time frame. I want it to be I want it to be done with enough time to really focus in on the 2-game slate, which starts at 4:30. So my plan is I'll do the Players Club tomorrow as usual, but it will try to be done maybe by 1:30 rather than starting it at 1:30, so we can kind of update us. Although this is very Players Club-ish right now, except I got Bobby. Wow, it's better than Bobby's in the VIP. You know how listen. Chicks love the boys in the VIP as
Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? All right, so where are we? Falcon side, are you interested in anything here? The Cordero, Kyle Pitts, Gage.
Not really, man. I mean, I don't like Cordero this week. I'm gonna let other people play him. He's been really good, but for whatever reason, they can't give up on Mike Davis, so they're splitting snaps. And Mike Davis has scored. He's a vulture, so I don't like the Falcons at all.
Me neither. I don't think they're going to keep this game competitive either. Those are the kind of teams you got to play them at home. Bad teams play okay at home, but when they go on the road, they just melt into terribleness. That's just been my experience. All right, so going position by position. So we've gone through the whole thing, and this is where it gets tricky. We already talked about like Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, no one stands out. Lamar, don't know if he's playing. Matt Stafford. That's your comfortable play right there.
Yeah.
We can continue down the list here, but Russ, Dak, questionable. Joe Burrow, not in love with it. You just go through it. Tua, maybe. I like Tua. And then Davis Mills and imagine this is the week where I'm going to play. I'm going to be playing lots of Stafford, a little bit of these other turds, and then some Davis Mills and Trevor Lawrence. Like, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's a weird one. So at running back, we go through the list, and it's like, okay, yes, Najee. We like Najee. We think Najee's the best play on the board. From there, okay, Mixon, perhaps. Patterson, probably not. Jones, no. Barkley, no. James Conner, right? But continuing down that list, Swift probably not going to play. Eli Mitchell, yes, if he plays. Darrell Henderson, yes, if he plays. Sony Michel, if Darrell is out. Maybe Miles Sanders, not in love with it. A little Myles Gaskin, perhaps. It looks like he's off the COVID list, actually. So,
yeah, he's activated.
Okay, so there we go. I do like Myles Gaskin. I will have some of that. So I will have some of that. And then, at running back, again, to continue down, not much else to look at here. It's a very small group. Maybe Michael Carter, Jets. Ooh,
I like some Michael Carter.
Okay.
He's cheap.
Okay, 4,700 Michael Carter. Any other GPP plays that are popping to you? Rashad Penny. I mean, who else?
James Robinson's a guy that stands out. I think he's been most hosed by Urban Meyer. He's going to want to show everybody that
I like it.
It's been Meyer holding him back, and I think he's a strong play.
I love it. So, as a core group at running back, you're talking Najee Harris, Joe Mixon, Connor, Rams running back, Gaskin, James Robinson, maybe, I don't know, Philly running back. Probably not.
And Carter, yeah.
And Michael Carter. That's it. It's a smaller group than usual. All right. Moving on to wide receiver. Again, similar concern. So at the top, Cooper Kupp. We both agree Kupp and Adams. Yes. As a matter of fact, I'd love to be able to squeeze both of these guys into lineups and just build my lineups that way. Wouldn't that be cool?
And you might be able to.
Well, we have salary relief. Let's go through it. Gabriel Davis. Van Jefferson's not really salary relief.
Skowronek,
Devontae Parker. I need to put Skowronek.
Yeah, Parker's the safer of those guys for sure.
Parker's the best. But and you also met Collins.
Nico Collins. Yep.
Skowronek.
And then Carter.
And Gabriel
Carter's
Davis.
another value.
I don't like him. Oh, Michael Carter. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I was like thinking DeAndre Carter. I'm like, I don't like that dude. But Michael Carter. So there is value, and there's sub 4K value on DraftKings that we can mess with. Fournette is not going to be out. What are you saying, April? Is Fournette in question right now? Oh, that's not for this slate. But is Fournette in question?
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, I think he's playing. I didn't know that he was in questionable. No, you definitely play Fournette.
One other guy, Geek, added to the list is Albert Wilson.
Oh, yes. Get this. So there are 4 or 5 sub 4K wide receivers that we can play and feel pretty good about. And that opens up. I mean, you have to play one in the flex. And by the way, this is wide receiver in the flex week, guys. We're back. This is not like force a running back. We're back to wide receiver in the flex. So totally agree. So at the top, you're talking Adams and Kupp. To me, Samuel is just a pivot off of those two. Stephon Diggs, borderline unplayable, but certainly only in stacks with Josh Allen. Deontay Johnson, always fine, but at 7,500 in this game environment, that's probably priced a little too high for my 7, 14, 21, 20. I mean, he has to hit his ceiling. He could get there. I like him more as a cash play, though. What do you think?
Yeah.
Lamb exclusively with Dak. Chase exclusively with Burrow. I can't play Terry McLaurin. Can't play any of these turds. So we get right. You jump from this zone here. Chase, like basically have these sort of only with their quarterback types right up here. Then you got this whole turd zone right here. No one can be played. 7K to 6,500. Now we're at, again, Amari Cooper only with Dak, priced up. T. Higgins only with his quarterback. Can't pay that price for him. Ayuk definitely does not generally return value for this price point. DK Metcalf only if Ramsey is out. It's hard to play DK if Jalen Ramsey is going to be on him. Devonta Smith, his next good game will be his first in a while. He doesn't get targets. Like, I don't know if he's good or not. Can't tell. They don't target him. So, I mean, look at what's happening. You're very quickly running through the whole player pool. We're down to 5,800. Brandon Cooks, yes. Russell Gage, no. Moore out. Jefferson, yes. Gallup only with Dak. Julio, I'm down with Julio.
He's cheap, yeah.
Jerry Jeudy, no. Odell Beckham out. Kenny Galladay, no. Christian Kirk, yes. Playable. St. Brown, no. Maybe. Valdez Scantling, 5,900, very expensive. So, I mean, the choices are few and far between. I think it's studs and duds, Bobby Wow.
Yeah, I think that's part of why you can do it, because you're right.
Like, you're not excited about anybody from 8,100 all the way down to about 5K. Maybe Brandon Cooks, but like, I think the way you're doing it is you're going these two, and then you're plugging in, your cheapie. You're plugging in another cheapie. Give me one of your 3Ks. Like, we can go Davis if we want to go with the name brand one, or Nico Collins, or Albert Wilson, or or Scourneck. I really like Scourneck, actually.
Scourneck's min price, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. If I could figure out how to spell his name. So something like that as a start. Plug in Eagles defense. Now, look at this, though, Bobby. Wow, you still need, in order to fit Cooper Kupp into it, you could do this, but you got to play Michael Carter to make it work, which I don't love as much. You're going to have to play cheap quarterback. Oh, my goodness. Craig Reynolds. I played Craig Reynolds last week in my season long. So let's say, you played like Trevor Lawrence, but, so you're going to switch this up a little bit and give him a stack mate. But all right. So what we've learned is you can do it, but you don't want it. It's not going to be easy, or you need to find a cheap tight end or something to make it work. Cheap quarterback, cheap tight end, cheap running back to make it work. So it's not going to be, I think, more likely looking through this, it's going to be a lot more likely that you're going to want to only play one of these two, unfortunately. And then you're going to have to make it a little more middling and find like a Brandon Cooks type situation. And then if it's Lawrence, we play Marvin Jones Jr., something like that. And then, yeah, I mean, I kind of actually like this lineup here. This isn't too bad at all.
Dawson Knox.
Yeah, get Dawson Knox or Gesicki. Yeah, Gesicki or Dawson.
Or Gesicki, yep.
I mean, this doesn't look too bad on screen right here. This is kind of like, hey, if I want to play a Trevor Lawrence, it's not how I build a Lawrence. I want to build bringbacks with, with Hugh.
You have a bringback.
Actually, I do. Actually, you know what? Playing it. Me and now 70 other people are playing it. Oh, boy.
I like it, Geek. I really like that one. But yeah, I think you're right. You can do it. You can
do it with the two, but it definitely feels a little better with just one of those guys. So we talk wide receiver, we talk running back, at tight end. It's a lot of. It's difficult to pay down at tight end this week, Bobby. Wow, do you have anybody you like here? Who do you love at tight end this week?
Oh gosh, yeah. I think it's difficult for me to pay up. You got Kittle, who's way overpriced. I know he's been really good.
Can't pay
7,500. Holy cow!
No.
Mark Andrews, who might not have Lamar, that's tough as well. Although he did pretty well last week. And Kyle Pitts against the 49ers. I don't know. I don't mind paying down here. I like Goddard. I like Dawson Knox. I like Gesicki. That 4,500 to 5K range is pretty decent there.
Yeah, but it doesn't look that great when you get down from. I think Higbee is probably playable as well at 4K. Even though
I was gonna say Higbee as well. Yep.
Yeah, and yes, O'Shag Hennessy. I don't play O'Shag Hennessy most weeks.
I've never played. He stinks. He's terrible.
He can get a bunch of targets, but it doesn't mean he's going to get you more than 10 fantasy points. I just like saying his name much more than I like playing him. O'Shag Hennessy. It's a fun name to say. I keep mentioning him. Everyone's like, you like O'Shaughnessy? And no, it's pronounced O'Shag Hennessy.
Now, if they had Tim Tebow at tight end, maybe I'd play him.
Who?
Tim Tebow.
What? He was
their tight end in preseason.
Yeah, well, him I would play, but not O'Shag Hennessy. Green Bay tight end. Who the hell's the Green Bay tight end? Josiah
Degura. Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Come on. Could we really play Josiah? Me and Josiah go back like babies and pacifiers. Did you know that?
Oh my gosh.
No.
I don't hate it.
No. We go back like babies and pacifiers. All right. Anyway, I'll move on. Apologize for that. And defense, I think it's just like Eagles. Just pay up for the Eagles. Any pay down defense options that you think are even viable here? Lions, no. Panthers, no. Jets, probably not. Ravens, no. Seahawks, hell no. Can we play the Seahawks? Let's ask Alexa. Can I play the Seahawks? It's a no. It's a no.
If there's anyone down here,
Giants, Washington.
And I'm not doing it, it's the Jets. Otherwise, you can't go below 2,800.
And I don't love the $2,800 guys. Texans, Jaguars, how do you choose? I guess it's the Jaguars. The Urban Meyer narrative explosion. I think you just pay up.
I think you have to.
Just pay. Steelers are the cheapest viable defense because with the Texans, Jaguars, I think one of them might have a good game, but I don't know. Steelers, sure. Bills, sure. 49ers, yes. This is the zone of defense. Rams, yes. Eagles, definitely. I think you just have to force the Eagles in, to be honest. You just got to
they're really not that expensive. Sometimes we'll see defenses even priced higher. So
just that kind of week, I think you just got to force it in. You got to force in the Eagles.
Yep.
And that's it. That's it. Arizona, no. Eagles are good enough. You don't.
I mean, Buffalo too. If PJ Walker's starting, Buffalo is
Buffalo playable as well. Absolutely at home. Buffalo playable at home, and then Eagles. Everett's fine too. He's fine. I think he's fine. Yeah. If you need to go that low, fine. Yeah, absolute permission. I think that's it, Bobby Wow. That's a breakdown of the main. So this was very Players Club style. Felt like a little, man. I think I need you on the Players Club with me every single week. That's what's up. We're gonna have to get you some fly gear. You can't come to Players Club. You got to get like a chain. You have to have a gold chain. Do you have a gold chain?
No, I don't.
You have any jewelry?
You wear a gold chain at the Players Club?
Swag. I keep it under. I keep it hidden, and I keep it under wraps.
Are you one button less? You're one more unbuttoned than the Players Club?
No, I keep the buttons. I keep the buttons open.
Buttons up. Okay.
This is the open button look that's just my look. I'm out at the supermarket. I don't even need to be at the Players Club for that. I'm at the supermarket.
I was gonna say for Players Club, you find a shirt with a lower button that you can unbutton.
I do like that, but actually, no, it's a little. Yeah, I mean that's how you got to do it in the Players Club. So, did you ever see that video of the guy who pimp walks into the barbershop and he's like, he does this little he does this he's like he does this awesome walk. The door flies open and this music and he's just he's smooth walking in there and he does this low thing with the legs and the whole. It's this awesome thing. So I just have to let you know that I have practiced that.
Okay.
And I cannot do it and I never will be able to. It looks like a donkey sex show when I'm trying to do it. It's
oh my God.
I'm so unsmooth. It's the most unsmooth thing you've ever seen. And I'm
I don't know if I'm more concerned about seeing that ever or more concerned about you comparing it to a donkey sex show. I don't even know.
I've never seen one. I'm just saying it's just hard to look at. That's what I meant by your eye. You want to avert your eyes. Oh my God. I also tried to do the Conor McGregor swag walk.
No,
I can't do anything. I look like an idiot. It's horrible. I'm I can't do anything like that. I can't pull off the pimp walk. I can't do the swag walk. My body the rhythm is horrible. It's just a disaster. You're right. He knows what's up.
You need.
I tried. A handy is gone.
You need a wig, one of those long hair, like Justin Bieber, old Justin Bieber that you can just whip back on one of these pods. Throw it on, whip it back, and then be done.
You don't want to see that. Lord knows. I do have I have a full elf costume.
Oh my
God. Not a Christmas elf. It's a Lord of the Rings style elf costume. Different.
Have you worn it before?
For Christmas. To bring gifts to the kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got to see that tomorrow, Geek.
There's a bow and arrow that goes with it as well, which is weird for a Christmas elf, but I do look good. It's more of a dark elf, really.
Gotta
when
keep
I
the
wear
kids
it.
in line when they're opening presents.
It's an evil.
Don't
elf.
open it early.
It's an evil elf. There's nothing that looks. It's definitely a dark elf. Like that's not one of the good ones. That's one of the ones that's been cast out of the forest and lives in the shadow realm with the evil ones.
This is getting less Christmassy by the second.
Yeah,
really.
It's not a very good Christmas elf at all. Anyway, I don't know how we got to that. All right, that's going to do it, guys. So Bobby Wow and I with Josh, DFS Up North, will be back tonight. DFS Army VIP only, breaking down the 2-game slate, which I'm obsessed with. I do have a team that I'm specifically in love with this weekend. So on Saturday, I do have some real big insights about a couple of those games. And the other one, like I said, the Browns game, I don't fucking know. And then what a weird game that's going to be. And then, of course, I'll be back for the Players Club tomorrow, early, 11 a.m. I'm going to be tired. I'm going to have to drink a couple cups. We're going to have no Blue Moons tomorrow. We're drinking coffee. Players Club. 11 a.m. is too early for the Blue Moons for me. Might have to do coffee with maybe put a little Irish cream in there. So, let's wrap it up, guys. Good stuff. Good luck this weekend, everybody. Good luck on your fantasy playoffs for everybody's in them. I went up against a team in my most expensive entry league that has both Kelsey and Tyreek Hill on the same team. So I get to stare at somebody who's got 70 fantasy points from 2 players for the next few days, knowing that I have almost no hope of catching up. And I was the prohibitive odds-on favorite in that league to win it all.
That hurts.
It is. It's not fun. I traded away my first round. Was like, you can have pick 112, bitch. I don't care. Dynasty league, right? And now it's going to be like pick once. It's a solid pick. So angry. Oh man, that never is fun. Yeah, it's a bummer. But yeah, that'll do it for this one, guys. Good luck this week, everyone. We will see you later tonight, breaking down the 2-gamer. And of course, we will, if we don't see you tonight, we'll see you at the top of the leaderboards this weekend. Take care, everybody.